Every June in Powell River, British Columbia, Canada, on the ancestral lands of the Kahaman Nation, people gather from all over the world for the Prisma Festival. Join us as we bring you a taste of the music, conversation and celebration for which this event has become known. We do look forward to welcoming you back to the concert hall someday. But until then, this is Prisma on the Couch.
Welcome back to Prisma on the Couch, edition 8. I'm Arthur Arnold, Artistic Director, and we have a guest in the studio here.
I'm Neil Pukish. I'm the Manager of Recreation Services for the City of Powell River.
And it's wonderful to have you here, Neil. And Neil, welcome to the studio and tell us about your experience.
Great. Thanks, Arthur. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, but under these conditions with an empty stage, it's a little disheartening. This is usually the time of year when Prisma is in its peak performance mode, first week, and to sit here in an empty stage in this condition it's a little chilling and surreal, but we know it's only temporary, and we're looking forward to future events down the road.
That's great, thank you. So how is it, Neil, to host year after year an international festival? And we are not the only international festival in Powell River. We also have Kathaumiu, the big choral festival, every second year. What do you encounter? Tell me more.
This would have been my 6th year doing this, but it starts a lot sooner than you actually think, and it starts with a lot of coordinating, and it really starts from the previous show. So we've worked with Prisma over the years, and we've had debriefings after the last performance just to say, okay, what worked well, what didn't work well, how can we make it better? And we've made slight adjustments year by year by year, and it's always going to be evolving, but it takes a lot of coordinating, a lot of logistics, planning. Your team has been fantastic to work with over the years, and I know that our team really looks forward to hosting this event every year because we take so much pride in our facility, in our community, and we want to put on the best show, the best performance for visitors who come to town to particularly watch this, and for viewers at home, they get to see this as well. So a lot of work. It's not easy. A lot of planning, I said, we start 12 months in advance. But it's communications where they're open, they're transparent, and they're meaningful, and so that really helps with the project.
And then you guys look after Prisma on the beach and make the beach, Willingdon Beach available. We get thousands of people there every year.
Yeah, that's probably the highlight for me for Prisma, and that would have been happening this Saturday, I believe. But really, it brings the community together, and that's what it's all about. It's community building, community development, in an outdoor environment, in that theater. I remember a couple years ago when BC Ferries launched their new ship, the Salish Eagle, and it did the drive-by, and then we had the planes coming overhead. It was just such a great spectacle, and then your team was on stage performing. We had great weather. I believe there's even boaters out on the water watching, and just to see our community come together in that type of environment, it's really special. So that really, I look forward to that one every year.
Well, thank you, Neil, and thank you for making this empty stage available for us to record Prisma on the Couch. And I think it's time for some music. Let's go listen to Mozart, the overture, and that's the overture to the Nozze di Figaro. Welcome back, Andy.
Thanks. It's nice to be back. I feel like I kind of just teleported here or something.
Right. Yeah, you were there all of a sudden on the couch. Did you enjoy the Mozart?
I did. I really did. Yeah.
Great.
You know what else I enjoy is
tell me.
watching the audience file into the Evergreen Theatre. It just reminded me because I just kind of magically appeared here. It's really fun to sit in the Prisma office when a show's about to start and just watch everybody come in from all directions, from the parking lot, into the hallway, into the theater here.
And sometimes even all the way from Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Let's have a look how they enter the hall.
So now that I'm here and you're here and the orchestra's here on stage, should we have some music?
Absolutely. We're going, actually, you know what? We got a lot of requests from our audience to bring back Mate Schutz from Hungary. And we had some more footage. So we're going to listen to the third movement, the Serenade from Harold in Italy. That is so beautiful. That end, the chords, the silence. Sometimes silence is the most beautiful thing after beautiful music.
True. Yeah.
It's different silence than any other silence.
It's a special type of silence, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get loud now.
Okay.
Let's talk about the amazing two people, Don Sommers and Brian Balfe, who have done so much for Prisma. You had a chat with them recently.
I did. I called them up over Zoom, and it was really great to touch base with them. I get to see them once a year at the Sail to the Symphony matinee concert that we typically close out Prisma with. And yeah, they've been just so instrumental in really helping us start this organization, but also really spearheading that event on the island and getting an interest over there for what we're doing over here, bringing patrons over on the ferry, and this really special concert that we get to do. So let's hear what they hear.
Yeah, I really want to use this moment, Brian and Don, to thank you both for the incredible support you have given to this organization and for organizing year after year, for mobilizing people year after year to come over on BC ferries to sail to the Symphony and enjoy the orchestra here in the Evergreen Theatre. Thank you so much.
Brian and Don, our founding sponsors. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hey, Andy, good to see you.
Checking in.
Good to see you, yeah. So you guys have been involved, from the very beginning with everything we do, and in particular, the Sail to the Symphony, formerly known as the Symphony Cruise. This tour that we do, this amazing tour with hundreds of people coming over from your neck of the woods on the island. Tell us about your experiences with that and bringing that joy to people and bringing a piece of Prisma. What's that like for you guys to be a part of that?
Well, it's a pretty interesting story. Yeah, Brian, you should give them the history on that.
Yeah, please.
Well, it all started on BC ferries on a return trip from Powell River to Comox. Both Don and I were there. And we bumped into Arthur Arnold, the conductor, and Kim Stokes and her son, Andrew.
Yeah.
And so we had a wonderful conversation on the way back about, Arthur's involvement in music and Kim's experience with the choir and the family experience with music. And, in the course of that hour and a bit ferry ride, we got so inspired by, what Arthur was saying and his enthusiasm that we just had to explore it further. And we did. And so we got involved in the program and I'd have to say, to Don, my partner's credit, we, but mostly Don, worked very hard in the community for a number of years to get other people excited on the Comox Valley side.
For people who don't know what this is, we're bringing a ferry load of people from another city all in one day with the ferry transportation, the bus transportation. They go up and they have an amazing meal right on site at the venue. Then they go up the stairs, see the Symphony matinee, the bus logistics to get them back to the ferry, back walking on, back to their home, all in one piece at the end of the day. Quite a logistical feat. So thank you guys for going on this crazy ride with us to make that a thing. Pretty unique.
Yeah, and I'll just share what we've heard year after year, and I certainly, it comes from different people. But I remember last year, a lady coming up to Don and I and saying, it was a highlight of her entire year coming over to Powell River to listen to the program, and that's very touching. That's the highlight of her year, and then she looks forward to it every year.
And I think COVID actually helps to illustrate this. We all live in a very beautiful corner of the world, but what we're all missing is that social interaction, that ability to go and listen to a live music event and see the passion in other people's faces, whether it's tears running down their eyes or just smiles on their faces. And so that's what music for me brings, is that passion and pulse from the soul.
Personally, I think just the uplifting effect that music has on me, and seeing that in others, and seeing that connection, in those moments between the musicians and the audience, it's just very inspiring, very touching. I'm happy to say that after 13 or 14 years, however long it's been, we have introduced a lot of people to the Symphony program, and the hard work was just getting them to get on a ferry to come to Powell River to experience Prisma. But once that had been done, you guys took over, and the job was done. They were hooked.
Last year was quite a big year. Almost, I don't want to say too big, but we definitely hit the ceiling, didn't we? I think you had to come to the rescue of some of the people just to get them to the show in time.
The ferry was overloaded, so there were people left behind. So we managed to round up a couple boats, and we took a number of clients. I think it was about 18 or 20 patrons that would have otherwise missed the concert. We managed to get them over there. So I captained one trip on the way there, and Don took them back. So it was a great trip. I think Don had a more exciting trip on the way back because they encountered whales, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, the music was fabulous that year. I got to say though, for all of logistics of over the years we've organized lunches and restaurants and menus and busing. The mayor's been down to greet us when we come off the ferry. But I think the greatest challenge of all was getting those humpback whales, out mid passage on the way home last year.
You had to make a lot of calls for that, I'm sure. Call in a few favors.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. Stay
Great
safe.
seeing you, Andy.
Take care. Great.
Say hi to the team. Give them a hug from us.
Absolutely will. Yeah. Well, I'll give them a virtual hug until Bonnie Henry says otherwise. But
Yeah.
We will be with you next year.
We'll call it the Bonnie Henry hug.
The Bonnie Henry hug. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Take care.
I've heard a lot of positive feedback from the students about the master classes.
Yeah, they're going so well. It's been really, really neat to see those connections being made. And
it's so appreciated that they can still study at Prisma, albeit somewhere different location.
Yeah, and our staff have actually gotten to moderate them, and I've learned a ton. I think everybody else has as well, and hopefully you are as well.
Let's watch a masterclass. We are going to learn something about phrasing and about cookies.
If we do too much of the same thing for too long, the audience is going to get bored. When this happens, I call it cookie music.
Okay.
The reason that I call it cookie music is because at that point, people in the audience are going to be they come to your recital, right? And after hearing ba ba bit ba 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 bit da da ba 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 bit bit ba, and I'm not saying that's how you're playing. If we play music that is too repetitive, this is what they're going to start to think. Your friends in the audience, they're going to go, I wonder if there's cookies after this recital. Okay? I don't want them to think about the cookies.
Okay.
I want them to be involved in the music that you're making. And hey, if there are cookies, then that's an added benefit.
The next section, the hesitant, very, very beautiful lines. Dee da da, dee da da. That was terrific. There's a very odd breath, and this breath that you took is inked in. Is it inked in your part? Is it ink, or do you just know to do that?
Yep, there is.
There is ink, right. My copy no longer has the ink. My old copy does. It's interesting. So many flute players don't like that breath that many people have taken it out. I used to hate it. When I was in school, I refused it. I thought, it's unmusical. And then I started practicing it that way. And I thought, okay, I like this. And now I've gone back to it works, it's okay. And if Inesco wanted that, I can do it that way. But I do like that idea of going through and making the phrase a little bit longer. There's a longer line, but as we know, it looks to all of us as if Inesco wrote in, So on and so forth. And it's controversial. So I will let you decide which one you'd like to do. If you take that breath, don't wait too long. And don't make the breath sound like you're done. Keep the musical idea moving forward. Da dee da dee da da dee da da dum.
We don't want them to get bored and start to be thinking, there better be cookies after this recital. Just imagine how much money we could save on cookies.
Right.
If we play music in an interesting way that isn't boring. In other words, an audience, I believe, we need to deliver to an audience a nice ratio of fulfilled expectations and surprise. In other words, if they can predict everything that we're going to do, then they're going to get bored because there's no surprise. But at the same time, if we don't deliver to them some satisfaction of their expectations of what's going to happen musically, then they start to just turn off. So I think that this is a central issue in performance and aesthetics. It's this finding this nice ratio between surprise and fulfilled expectations.
You want a cookie?
Do we have cookies?
I didn't bring cookies.
Great. Hey, talking about master classes, you had a feedback from a student, right?
Yeah, we got an email. Actually, our academy manager, Linda Harris, got an email. Shout out to Linda for organizing all of these scheduling of master classes on I don't know how many time zones. That's a
Yay,
pretty
Linda.
amazing job. So thank you, Linda. So she got an email from a horn student named Kieran, who says, "Dear Miss Harris, I would like to thank you, Prisma, and Mr. Focke Van Heel for all of the communication that you've done so that I could participate in the Prisma online horn workshop. I would also like to thank Prisma for hosting the online workshop instead of canceling it entirely. I thoroughly enjoyed the workshop. Thank you so much. I will be auditioning for Prisma next year, and I hope to see you in person."
That's so wonderful. And you know, let's listen to Focke Van Heel now, the teacher, in Mozart's Third Horn Concerto, the last movement. Well, that was beautiful, Fokke. Thank you.
So a couple moments ago, you saw a masterclass, but we've got another education program of Prisma that we're really excited about.
Let's have a look.
Year after year, one of the biggest comments we get from Prisma students is how much one-on-one time they get with our guest artists during our 2-week festival. Thanks to a generous grant from Creative BC, Prisma has been offering a series of events centered around career advice and well-being. Everything one needs to know when making a life as a musician. Our guest artists are truly experts in their field with many lifetimes of experience to share. In 2019, we debuted a series of lunchtime talks as well as an evening event known as Musical Chairs. This gave students the chance to deeply engage with professional musicians with years of experience in the industry on a variety of topics, asking the big questions about everything from workplace ethics to contract negotiations to effective practice strategies and how to deal with performance anxiety. The format itself was quite something to behold. 24 tables were set up with just enough chairs for everyone. Each guest artist sat waiting behind a big sign labeled with their topic of choice. And when the buzzer rang, students hightailed it towards the first station that picked their interest. 15 minutes later came another buzzer, and another, and another, and another. What better chance to blow off some steam in the middle of an intense week of rehearsals and lessons? And by the end of the event, our students had played their way through an epic game of musical chairs, gaining knowledge and even a little exercise in the process. Even this year, in the age of social distancing, the concept lives on through our virtual masterclass series. This ensures that students still have the chance to ask whatever's on their minds and keep the conversations going until everyone can convene in a room once again.
So much fun to see that again. I actually got to MC that show. And as you heard, that was supported by Creative BC, and we've got a lot of great support from our granting agencies, which is partly why this show is possible as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we are going to listen to another piece of music. A piece of music that is really dear to my heart. It's a last movement of Mahler's 4th Symphony, and I've said before that when we did the first movement, that is the symphony is a journey through life, and it ends with a child's vision of heaven, and this is so utterly beautiful, and the sound of the soprano coming in, and then there's a moment where the soprano sings in German, but I'll say it in English. There is no music on earth that can be compared with the music we have, basically. And Mahler gets a color in the orchestra, and it gets so soft and so beautiful and so warm that it's just gorgeous.
Can't wait to hear it.
Have a listen. Wow, Lauren. Lauren is something else.
Yeah. Well, we've gone from up there. Let's go back to Earth.
To reality.
To reality. And some of the, I don't know, mundane aspects of being a human, like driving, parking, those sorts of things. You have a funny clip about that. Let's check it out.
Well, I better get out of here.
Now, exciting moment. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's my parking ticket. I got my first parking ticket in Paul River. In 60 years. I must have parked wrong. I didn't know. Really? You know, I have one of those cars. It's one of those smart cars. Can I borrow your chair? Thank you. You know, my car is about this big. And, you know, it really doesn't matter how you drive it. And so you find a parking place, right? So you look behind you, and you can see what's behind you on the bottom, right? There's nothing there. You have to make sure that you don't hit your head on the gas. And so you drive your car back, and I thought there was nothing there. Really. I mean, it doesn't really matter seriously how things how you park it like this way or this way, right? And so I was out there. And there's this nice little spot, you know, where it's smart car, really. It's very smart. It fits nice this way or this way. So today I thought I'd do it this way. You know, just to show off that I'm good for the environment. All my air animals don't come to me. Yeah, that was the ticket. So I went to City Hall, because if you go today, you save $5. And I'm Dutch. $50 is nothing, really, you know, it's nothing. So I paid it. They didn't want me to pay, by the way, but I said, no, I want to pay. No, you don't have to pay. No, I want to pay. I was so proud. My first ticket in 16 years in Paul River. I had tickets in every big city, but never in Paul River. So I paid. And I parked the car in the same spot, but now this way. Because I want to see whether it was a spot or the... So, we'll find out. I think it's worth $50. I'll tell you, okay? So that we know you can't park there or you can't park there. But depending on the direction. Direction is very important anyways in music, so I understand it. Okay, without further... how do you say that? Without further ado. No, that's not the buttons. Oh my goodness. If I only was organized. Yeah. Can I have all the competitors standing up who played last night?
I love that story.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, let's move on. And do you know what we're going to listen to?
Well, I know whose favorite piece it is. We've got, I'd call her a Prisma superfan, Michelle Zarin in Las Vegas.
Michelle, this one is for you. The Nutcracker, Pas de deux, with the Prisma Festival Orchestra.
that's all we have for you tonight, but we're going to be back tomorrow. It's going to be very exciting. Misty will be sitting here. Arthur will still be sitting there.
Tomorrow we'll hear about the commemoration of the 75 years of liberation of the Netherlands by Canadian Armed Forces.
I'll be watching. I hope you'll be watching. Thank you so much for joining us. It's really great to have you here. Leave us some comments. Let us know what your favorite pieces are, what your favorite couch is, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Good night.